All right, well, there you are, guys. Welcome to the live well here at Fish North Georgia Tuesday Nighter, election 2024. Hey, we know it's an important day, but you guys have been watching the news and listening to all the political stuff for the last 18 months. We're just going to have a lot of fun tonight and talk about fishing and give you guys a break from all this stuff. I promise you the results will be there after the show. So if you're watching on YouTube, make sure you click that like and subscribe button. Give us a thumbs up. It helps. What's up, everybody, in the comment section already? And again, follow FNGO on all social media platforms. So, got a great show for you tonight. We got Bassmaster Elite and NPFL angler Drew Cook, who has been on the show before. He's agreed to join us tonight, and we're going to discuss, wherever you guys want to go. We got a lot of questions prepared for him, so we appreciate him joining us. But let me take care of a couple things of business first. We got a new sponsor tonight that we want to welcome to the live well, and that is Bill Payne's Guide Service. Guys, if you follow Fish North Georgia, you know the name Bill Payne, especially on the Lake Allatoona area. Well, now Bill Payne's partnering with us, and we're going to promote him. Guys, if you want to fish with a legend, Bill Payne's the guy to do it, and he's booking on Allatoona and other nearby reservoirs by, request. If you want to go on a trophy smallmouth trip, hey, he does those. They're seasonally. He offers sonar trips with advanced forward-facing sonar training. Guys, you just know the name. And I'm telling you, you need to give Bill a call at 706-280-2305. And we're so glad that Bill Payne has agreed to join us here as live well. He's one of my favorite guests. He's going to be on. You guys know. He knows. He's probably forgotten more than most of us will ever know. So good to have Bill Payne on board. And also, real quick, our Toys for Tots. Okay, December 7th out of Laurel Park, FNGO and Big Sandy Bassmasters are bringing you the Toys for Tots tournament, sponsored by Digital Sportsman and other fine sponsors. The sign-up's going on right now. Pre-registration to November 29th. Okay, and again, I've been telling you guys before, you're going to blast off in the order that you sign up. $5,000 guaranteed first place prize by our sponsors, and then sections are 2 through however many boats we got. Those payouts are coming back from the angler's entry fees. It's $80. 60 of that goes to the payout, 20 to big fish. It's going to be out of Laurel Park. And if you want to sign up, you need to go to Buford Dam Bait and Tackle right now. They can sign you up, or you can come here to Fish North Georgia. If you're out of the area, you can contact me on Facebook, and we'll get you all signed up. Pre-registration ends November 29th. All right, and then you can sign up the morning of the tournament. Now, remember, this is all for the Hall County Toys for Tots. So the biggest thing is, if you're an angler, you're going to be bringing some toys as well, at least one toy per person, but we hope you bring more for anglers. The weigh-in is going to be broadcast live right here on FNGO on our YouTube. I will be emceeing that. Podcast will go live about 2 o'clock, and then we're going to watch all the people come up, bring their fish. We want this to be a great event. We really want to help these kids out for Christmas, and I want to thank our other sponsors too that are helping take part and to make that payout possible. Of course, Buford Dam Bait and Tackle, Serve IT, Brooks Anderson Fishing, Lipsticker Fishing, Roy Brown Construction, For Her Outdoor Apparel, and also Lipsticker. Kevin Underwood told me today that we might be having a raffle. We might raffle off a spot to fish with him in this tournament. So if you want to fish with Kevin Underwood, we might be raffling off that spot. So that'd be a pretty cool thing. There will be a raffle the day of the tournament. You got to buy tickets there, and we're going to get some of the local companies to have a lot of great prizes and everything. So it's a very good, very, very, very good event that we want you guys to be a part of. So, and that's coming up. But go ahead and get signed up. So everybody in the comment section, Jebster, what's going on? All you guys, Derek Spicer, Philip Hunt, Luke Turner. What's up, Tony? You guys bring your questions for our guest tonight, Mr. Drew Cook. And joining me to my sides right here, I got David Aldridge. To my left right there, and his beautiful Falcon Rod shirt right there. So I love that. And then to my right, the best looking man in all of podcasting right there, Ken Pruitt. Definitely doesn't. Alex is back yonder. Put your ugly mug up. So now we got everybody. So now let's bring in the good looking guy right here, the guest of the night, Mr. Drew Cook. So Drew, how you doing, dog?
Pretty good. How are y'all?
Oh, well, we're hanging in there. So first of all, did you go vote?
I did. I was there at 7:05 this morning.
Ask about what time I got there. It's been a long day, so you did your civic duty right there. So that's impressive. You guys voted, right?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Y'all did your job
Last week.
Last week. All right. So you're the early guy. So anyway, there's so many ways we can actually start this. I mean, there's a lot going on, in the bass world. Kind of in your own words, as an angler, hearing all the news and everything's going on, we don't have to get into specifics, but tell us a little bit, kind of what's the environment right now in professional angling?
I'm just glad I don't really have an off season this year. I still got a couple of tournaments left that I'm really only going to have about a month off, but because there's too much stuff to be worrying about right now between, the schedules and entry fees and payouts and information rules, all that stuff. There's just too much stuff going on. It's I don't know. It seems like there's been a kind of a change in the whole fishing industry for maybe the better, maybe the worse. I don't know. It just seems like there's a lot more pushing and shoving on both sides. So we'll see what happens with it. I mean, none of us can really complain, man. We get to fish for a living. So
Right.
like you can only bitch about so much.
That's exactly right. So, well, I tell you what, how about this? What's right in the fishing industry right now?
It's going to be springtime in a couple months, about 2 months down here.
That's right. That's right. Now you fished the Bassmaster Elites and the NPFL this year. Mm-hmm. And so is that your plans for 2025?
Yep. I'm going to fish the Elites and the NPFLs. And there's actually, and this year was the same way, man. There was a couple extra tournaments that got thrown in there, like that TAA tournament, the Ionic battery tournament, no entry fee tournament on Hartwell. Next year, I'm fishing that tournament on Guntersville in October. So, I mean, there's going to be a lot of fishing. I like those extra tournaments that get thrown in there, especially the ones that you have very limited practice or no practice at all. Those are perfect. You're not gone too long, and it's kind of like a big pot tournament.
Yeah. Well, just on that note, I spent about, I don't know, an hour and a half yesterday with Alan Brooks, who ran the TAA. Let's just say it's coming. We'll just leave it at that. So, and the plans that he's got for that, if they work out the way his dreams are, that's going to be something that's going to be really good for all you guys. I don't know if you talked to him behind the scenes or not, but that man, the TAA has not gone away. Let's just say that. That'll be about as far as I'll put it. So I really enjoyed listening to what he was telling me he's kind of gearing towards. So you like that kind of tournament, though? Because y'all didn't have much. I don't think there was any practice on that tournament. Or if there was, it was like a day that you could ride around, if I recall.
I think it was three or 4 hours or something like that. You got to ride around. You couldn't fish. Yeah. It was perfect. That was all we needed anyway.
Well, see exactly. So, and that's one of the things that he talks about is the big thing that I think a lot of people don't think about with you professional anglers is they think about your time on the water, but they don't really consider the time away from home and the travel and those kind of pain in the ass things that everybody thinks. Well, they don't think about. Yeah. And so I know that was one of the things he didn't want to have you guys deal with. So, but you like that. You would rather a guy call up and just say, hey, big tournament on Guntersville or whatever lake, 1 day of practice, no practice, you guys show up 2-3 days, you go home.
Yeah, and it would not hurt my feelings at all to show up on Wednesday and be home by Saturday.
Yeah, I bet, 100%. So let's see. Andy Anderson has a question. Drew, are you looking forward to the Ultimate Angler event on Guntersville next year? Make sure you give Danny the first interview. So his son Brooks, I believe, is qualified for that tournament as well. You are fishing it.
Yep, I qualified at Lake of the Ozarks 2 weeks ago.
Okay, and so what's your thoughts about the Ultimate Angler event?
I think it's awesome, dude. I'm surprised it took this long to get that kind of funding, but Guntersville is a place that is perfect to do that. It's literally one of the main staples, home of tournament bass fishing, and it's a great fishery that can handle really big tournaments, and it's fishing really good. So I think the weights will be good. It's going to be good.
I'm laughing because I fished Gunnersville for the first time in my life. What, about a month and a half, 2 months ago?
6 weeks ago.
Being a Lanier boy, there's too much damn grass on that lake.
Yeah.
Like, I'm serious. I would have sold my mother to find a rocky point somewhere on that damn lake. It was awful. But these two guys love it. They fish it. Dave's got a place over on Gunnersville.
Yeah, I might have a house if you interested in a free place to stay.
Oh, there you
Absolutely.
go. Dude, look, he's got his garage is sweet, dude. You can back 3 boats in there.
Oh,
and it's
wow.
what? From that ramp, it's what? 5 minutes?
What are they going to put in at Civitan?
I think Goose Pond.
Goose Pond? It's 45. My house is about half a mile from Randy and Robin Howell.
Okay.
In Spring Creek.
Yeah.
But if you go there, figure out how to work his damn shower. All right, so we go there and we're spending a weekend filming for a TV show, and I can't figure out how to turn his shower on. And I was too embarrassed to get out and say, how do you turn your shower on? So I got down on my knees.
Didn't shower?
Dude, I was on my knees just splashing water on me. I felt like a damn idiot, but it was what it was.
Do not eat the crawfish etouffee on a tournament day. Make sure that's a practice day.
Yeah.
There's still one cove I know for a fact ain't got no fish in it.
No, because this ugly guy,
6 sticks of butter later or whatever he puts in that thing.
It's just because you can't handle your grease, dude. You got to learn how to handle it. I thought you Southern. Jeffster wants to know, what's your favorite time to fish?
They kind of all have their place. Obviously, I love the springtime, but I would say if I had to pick, it'd be either spring or fall. Like to fish a tournament. Fall, I really like fishing in the fall because it's always tough, never good. And if there's 100 people in the tournament, you're really only fishing against about 50 of them because they're all caught up in the dock talk about only going to get 2-3 bites and. They're just out of it from the get-go. So statistically, it's easier to do better in fall tournaments.
I got you. Adam W. Fishing wants to know, why don't the elites come to Lake Lanier more often?
I don't know the answer to that question, but I would love to see Lake Lanier the first week of April every year on there, especially after what we did in that TAA. I could not believe the weights and the 8-pounders, man. I fished there and I've never fished there in April. I've never fished there whenever there was a bunch of fish spawning. I've caught 1 or 2 spawning on there, but I couldn't believe the amount of big fish. I don't know where those big largemouth go, if they just sit underneath docks for the rest of the year or get out there in the middle and timber or something. But
according to some, they're out there with the spots now these days. So you can catch them shallow, you can catch them in the timber and all that. So the crazy thing about that tournament is, we were on the lake the week before. There was no largemouth on bed, none of that stuff. It's like that week y'all showed up, boom, they all just showed up and decided to just let you guys just wax on them for a couple of days. But it was impressive.
It was perfect, dude. That 4-hour ride around, I went into a cove. I caught them on a bank whenever we were there for the elites in 19 cranking. And I just knew what the banks looked like there. So I went down to that area. And the first pocket I pulled in, the first bass I saw was a 5-pounder. And it was the first bass I caught the next morning. I was like, man, this is going to be good.
Yeah. What did you end up having for that tournament? I don't remember off the top of my head.
How many days was it?
Hell, I was there. And I don't
2
remember.
days.
2 days, right? 2 days.
2 days.
2 days.
No, it was 3 days. They had a cut.
Two in a cut.
That's right. Yeah. We only did our podcast the final 2 days. That's right.
I had like 61 pounds or something like that. I had over 20 a day. It was good.
That's freaking awesome. Hell yeah. It is awesome. So, Clarence Stowers, since we were talking about the TAA, what turned out to be your most productive area on Lanier during the TAA?
Ooh, names and lakes, man. It's wherever that other river dumps into the lake, right around in there.
Were you south of Browns Bridge?
Hell, you don't know what Browns Bridge is.
I think you were up around the Chestatee area where the 2 lakes kind of come together.
Where that thing comes in. Yeah.
He was up around
about
Chestatee.
4 miles worth right there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Chestatee.
Okay.
You see now?
Listen, I'm familiar with it, and somebody come up and say, I was over at so-and-so, and I'm like, I don't even know where the hell that's at.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know all of them either. Before I hit Tony's, pull up Alexis Palmer right there. We'll never forgive Cook for missing our wedding.
Yeah.
I believe that's Trent's new bride right there.
That is. And I have an even valider excuse than I did before. It was this past Saturday, so like 3 days ago or whatever. And I have 2 kids. I have a 3-year-old and a 9-month-old. And the 9-month-old or the 3-year-old was fine. He can stay with whatever. 9-month-old, he don't sleep at all now. And I had nobody to keep him. But my 3-year-old has pneumonia now, so I couldn't have gone even if I wanted to.
Well, there you go. Is it fair to say that Trent Palmer outpunted his coverage?
Most definitely.
Yeah, Trent said he was getting married, and I saw some pictures. I went, "Hey, ain't no way in hell Trent got that." So anyway, all right. So let's pull up Tony. So hey, Alexis, I don't know if that's you or Trent watching, but we appreciate you guys right there, and congratulations on being married. Hope it lasts forever. Drew, if you can speak on it. What? Oh, let's see. Oh, I see that question. All right. So here we're gonna have this little thing for all you guys that are worried about the entry fees and everything on Bass. We've kind of agreed before the show that there's been so much stuff being talked about that. We're going to kind of steer away from that a little bit.
Drama-free night.
We're going to try to be a drama-free night. I know the man has opinions, but he's probably been asked by every other person in the world. So I was going to try not to do that tonight.
We'll clear it up one time. I think
you want to do it one time? All right.
No entry fees in professional bass fishing. That is amazing. It is something that I hope works greatly and feel like should be, what true professional bass fishing is, instead of fishing for our own money. But there's some work still left to do with the whole deal. And I'll just.
I know. I remember the last time you guys were on, when you were on with Patrick and Corbus and all that. I did ask the question, what was the one thing you guys would change? And I think at that time, all of you guys were like, increase the winning. Because like, it's been $100,000 for like 2/3 of my life. And I'm 52.
Yeah.
So I do believe that night you guys would be like, we would love for the money to go up. And I think it
just
should.
Stay up with the time value of money. Like,
because,
inflation.
Well, we got to talking about what it cost in 80, whatever that. How long has it been $100,000? Since 80s?
No, since about it went up. Was it early 2000s when the payouts really skyrocketed? I know, like on FLW side, the Forest Wood Cup paid $1 million a couple years. They had some 250s back. Yep. Was it the majors, Drew?
Mm-hmm.
And then about 08, I guess is when the market crashed around 08.
Yep.
09, it kind of trickled back, and it's been that way the best of my recollection.
Well, I still think it's bullshit. I honestly think if you guys are the best in the world, you got to be paid like the best in the world. If you're going to compete, you got to compete. And that's up to Bass and all the other ones to make it happen. Don't you think?
Yeah.
I know they're not going to call me for the answers tomorrow, but that's what I think. I ain't writing that check. So, but Tony does says great answer. I expect wanting to keep it drama free. And one thing I've always tried to tell everybody, like with us, we have some fun. We'll make some jokes, but you're not going to see me as one of these guys that make videos just downing
the click.
I'm not a clickbait guy. So we really don't want to do that crap. There's enough of those out there already. So Joe Bennett, I know you and Drew film a lot. Does that sometimes get in the way in the preparation for a tournament?
100%.
Yeah, I know it does. It does. So just kind of tell everybody real quick kind of what you guys are doing as far as like with filming and your social stuff.
So we have a YouTube channel. I think this will be our 6th year doing it. It's called The Cut Line. We film full-length videos of all the tournaments and practice, but it can get in the way as much as you'll let it. You got to let some things just happen because stuff will happen. You can, like, whether it be having to just worry about getting your camera guy there or picking your camera guy up or camera guy gets sick. fat finger the GoPro and you shoot catching 28 pounds of smallmouth and time lapse instead of video, and just stuff like that happens. And it's just, it is what it is. But it doesn't rile us up near as much as it used to.
Right. You get used to it. You kind of get numb to it a little bit.
Exactly. It's just it's like having kids, man. It's like it's the new normal. Like, you know.
You gonna have any more kids?
No.
Well, listen, we had two. Both my oldest two were girls, and with each one, we were getting a little more relaxed. By the time my son come along, he was number 3. We're like, the hell with him. We let him cry all night. Bless his heart. He turned out fine, you know, but the Lord, you just get tired of it. He's probably bitching about it, but like seriously, like baby's crying, like, hell, I don't care. He'll go to sleep eventually.
Yeah.
Jeffster wants to know, what's the biggest largemouth you've ever caught?
Biggest largemouth I ever caught was a 1484.
Mighty. Where was that from?
It was in a mine hole and really just south of where I'm at right now, in Quincy, Florida.
So where exactly are you joining us from tonight?
I'm in Cairo, Georgia, my house.
It is Cairo, right?
Yep.
I went to a funeral down there one time. That's a long way. You're down on the border, though. That's a long drive from up here.
Oh, yeah.
What's the
About
best lake?
5 hours every time I go to Trent's.
About 5 hours, and you're probably pulling the boat and everything. Tonight, I want to try to get a Bush Light sponsorship. The last time Drew joined us, he was enjoying these Bush Light peaches.
Yeah.
And so we have some tonight. So this is going to be my first time trying that. So if you're with Bush Beer, hey, the Live Well would love to shout you out every single week. So is this good? Are you recommending these, Drew?
Yeah, they're a great alternative beer.
Imagine a 90-degree day on Hartwell.
No kidding.
That's pretty good. No, that's good, dude. You know, you got to be careful with flavored beer and all that. Yeah. So, yeah. All right. So that's pretty good. So your recommendation, and I know you didn't recommend it, but hell, we saw you drink enough that night. We thought, hey, we got to try that stuff next time. So Ken has got these, what are you calling it tonight?
So it's basically Bush Beer and Bass Secrets.
Beer and Bass Secrets.
So what you can do is you can say, we'll ask you a question. We're going to watch everybody else too. But you can say, yes, you and Danny can talk about it. And then, or you can say, no, we'll move on. Or if you don't want to give out a secret, you just take a sip of beer about and do whatever you got, and we'll go from there.
So that might get tricky. I might forget about that.
All right. So what is question number 1 of Bush Beer and Bass
Secrets
with Drew?
Ever throw a lipless crankbait on a herring lake over 40+ foot of water? So this is for all those guys that are throwing flukes and everything else.
Absolutely. What was your answer? All right. So, okay, listen, I'm just learning the deep water game. Can you expound on that a little bit? You're throwing a rattle trap or something like that over timber? Over
anything, brush pile, cane, whatever. Just reel the shit out of it.
Well, I mean, that's it. Okay, well, let me ask you this. Guys up here in the North Georgia area, they're throwing flukes.
Or top water.
Underspins.
Yeah, or a riser bait or something like that. But if you're throwing especially a floating trap, those used to be really big back in the day. I used to catch them schooling really good on that. But if you're like V-ing the trap, on the surface, it's the same thing. And they don't see it all the time.
Okay. Do you ever let it go down to them, or are you burning it across the top?
Every once in a while, like cane or something, I let it go down past it and burn it. I'm still not fishing it slow by any means, but just getting it closer to them. But no, most of the time it's throw it and reel it. But you're only fishing for the dumb ones, man. I'm not gonna sit here and tell you that you're gonna catch every bass off a pile with it, but you can pull up there and catch the first dumb one for sure. But you can only catch 3 or 4 of them off of them anyway, so
that's right.
Throw something fast and just cover a bunch of them.
Specific brand of trap you throw?
The Spro Roku Shad.
That's what I wanted you to say
right
there. So
what size?
I like the 1/2 ounce, man. A lot of people like the bigger one, but I like the 1/2 ounce.
I just ordered some from Gunnersville, so I'm excited to get up there.
What'd you learn from Gunnersville?
I said ordered some for Gunnersville.
Ordered some for. Oh, that's right, you did. Yeah, so we got some. All right. So was that good enough for question number 1?
You're perfect.
All right, question number 2.
All right. So when it comes to the spring, do you prefer the knockers or the rattles? Like the
But you gotta have both, man.
Both.
So when the knocker first came out, like it was so huge. Like you were out fishing people. I mean, it'd be the same bait that wasn't a knocker, out fishing like 4 or 5 to 1, just because it sounded different. Now that there's so many, loud sounding traps, it doesn't matter the same. But I play with a lot of traps, play with all kinds of deviations of it. You got to kind of have a little mix of both. And it all depends really on how your grass is, what kind of grass it is. And like early in the spring, like Christmas time, you can catch them really good on a rattling one, but they get used to it.
his spring is different than ours.
Early in the spring around Christmas time. So I guess that's different because where you're at.
Yeah. Like Lake Seminole around Christmas, like it's
Strap time.
that dude. That's been the hardest thing that I think most of all the pros are from down here, man. It's like we don't have seasons really. Like I kind of do where I am more so than somebody say like Central Florida, but man, you got pre-spawn and spawn. That's pretty much all you ever fish down there. It's the same thing. There's no like where you are, where you actually have all the seasons. Like you probably put a sweatshirt on this morning. I wore a t-shirt.
Yeah.
And I'll wear a t-shirt until the 4 or 5 days of winter that we have here.
When's the last time you saw it snow down there?
I think it was like 2 years ago it snowed. And when I say snowed, I mean like there was some
Flakes
falling. But like it gets cold enough where I can freeze the little tree out here by my shop that my little kid plays in every once in a while, but it don't really get that cold down here.
That makes sense. Nobody really thinks about that.
Yeah.
Because when do bass normally spawn on Seminole?
That's the next question.
Oh, that was the next question?
It's a trick. Do you believe in the fall spawn?
Okay, so
but that's a curveball for you.
Okay, well, ask him question number 3, and then he can go all on that.
That's it. Do you believe in a fall spawn?
It does happen. I've never seen females do it, but it really happens the further south you go from here, and the further north you go. So, like up north, the smallmouth do it too. But
are you saying males come up like make a bed and the females just don't show up?
Yep. Because man, they don't have a calendar, dude. They just know. Like,
well, if they're like a typical male, hell, they'd do it year round if they could.
But once that water temperature gets and the length of the days are about the same, it does it. The first open I ever fished, I was like, I think I was 18. It was on Seminole in October, and I started the tournament on one on bed, and I caught him, the 4-pounder.
Wow. Huh. Okay, there you go. Now, cameraman Cletus live from Las Vegas tonight. What's up there, cameraman? Or should I call you Billy Ray Cyrus? And then Jebster, this is a question from a viewer. Do you prefer the double-bladed buzzbait or a single-blade buzzbait?
I prefer the single.
Okay, any reason why?
Because you only got to tune one when you beat it on a dock.
Man, keep it simple, man. Let's keep it simple. So, hey, works for me right there. Drew Patterson says, howdy, y'all. What's up, Drew? All right, question number 4.
All right. I asked Shaw Grigsby and I talked about this a long time ago, and it came up again about a year ago on a podcast he was on. Have you ever thrown a crappie jig on a bed?
No. I've thrown not a crappie jig. No, it doesn't have a hook big enough, but I've thrown a 1-inch grub on a bed.
Yeah.
A 1-inch grub.
Yeah.
That's the same thing I do. I'm telling you,
Just change the hook, make it a little bigger.
The best bed bait in the world is a Ned rig.
Yeah.
Nobody believes me, but they'll suck that joker up everything. Now, getting it in, that's different.
Yeah.
But I mean, if it's a big girl, but that makes sense. And what's the reason for that? Just downsizing, being a little less obtrusive, or kind of spooking the fish.
Yeah, and to hide it better.
Yeah. Any particular color?
Man, I'm a natural type guy. I white. I still really don't understand why a lot of people use the white. It's just for them to see, and somebody won a tournament one time on white, and that's why the only reason that those things are used. But you can catch a fish so much quicker with something that halfway looks normal to them.
That's
like
why
a green pumpkin.
Yes, and that's why I use a green pumpkin Ned. But I've always wondered why in the hell somebody those white, especially big white baits. I can see something very small maybe, but some of these guys are throwing 6-inch white crawls on it, and I'm like, there ain't a damn thing in the water that looks like that.
Well, sometimes now you won't like if you're going to throw something really big, you want to make sure they see it, and you want to make sure that they know it's in there. But I throw the big Norris flip gill. It's like 7 inches long. It's huge, about that thick. I don't try to catch them on it, but you'd be surprised what that thing will do. It'll get one fired up. They think it's a turtle, and man, they'll eat it. I've seen multiple, probably more than I can count on two hands, bass eat turtles when they're on the bed.
Yeah, makes sense. I just know a lot of guys automatically, when it comes to bed fishing, whether you agree with it or not, if you do fish it, the first thing they're doing is chunking something white in there.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of that too
That's
is where you're fishing. You're over here in this gin clear water. Where I came from, South Louisiana, you might not be able to see that well. So like some places, you put a green pumpkin or something, you just couldn't see it.
You gotta watch your line.
That's the thing, though. People not being able to see their bait, they don't know where their bait is.
Right.
But a lot of times, you just watch the fish, and it'll tell you where your bait's at.
Yeah. Steve, right there. Appreciate you joining us tonight. Says true statement about the Ned worm on a bed fish. I'm telling you. All right. So that was question.
All right. Grab your prop. We got a quick. This is our Toys for Tots prop here. Have you ever used a super soaker, let's say during practice, to see the beds?
Absolutely.
All right.
Oh, you can't use it during a tournament?
I just
definitely used it in a tournament.
You can?
Yes.
All right, let me ask you this, because we a lot of guys say they put some, what is it, like Dawn or something in this stuff? Mm-hmm. What do you use?
Dawn. If it's really thick, I'll put like a cap full of denatured alcohol in it.
Okay, explain to me why the miracle of Dawn and denatured, when it hits the water, it just parts that like the Red Sea. Why does it work?
That pollen's on the surface, and that Dawn is such a degreaser type thing that it'll shoot it. it'll make it disappear. It'd be a lot tougher without it. I know that. I mean, even 100%. It'll do leaves and everything. Like
it's crazy. The first time somebody showed that to me, I was like, all right, that's amazing. How does it work? And it's like, well, I don't know. It just does. And, at some point there was a first person, like in anything, that said, I'm going to put some Dawn in a sprayer and spray it and see what happens.
It had to have been him washing his hands on the side of the boat.
That's a good point. Mm-hmm. That's actually a very good point, because I've often wondered why they did that the first time.
Yeah.
There's always a first for everything.
It'll do the same thing with hand sanitizer. Like you do a hand sanitizer and drop it over the side of the boat, that alcohol will move. If you're in heavy pollen, it'll move it.
Really?
Yeah, because I keep hand sanitizer.
All right, there you go. We're all learning.
Cut or something.
We're learning something tonight. It's a science show. All right, question 6. Can I just tell you that he hasn't stopped to drink a beer yet?
I know.
I've been doing them in between the questions.
Have you ever fished a black bed for a spawning fish?
Absolutely.
But you don't know what that is.
A what now?
A black bed. You know how you see the circles?
Yeah.
And they're clear? There's a thing called a black bed.
All right. What is a black bed? Because he said yes, he has.
It's exactly what it sounds like. Most of the time, it's somewhere that doesn't really have hard bottom. It'd be like in a bunch of mush, like a bunch of dead grass and stuff. But it'll just if you weren't looking for it, you wouldn't see it. And most of the time, you'd see a fish and you'd be like, man, it's a giant just up here cruising. But it was actually on that black bed right there.
Oh hell, I thought it was a bait.
No.
Have you ever fished a black bed for I get what you're saying now. Just a black spot in the grass or
Yeah,
something.
just instead of clear,
hell,
it's just
okay.
darker.
Because they do turn different colors on certain lakes. Like there's somewhere I remember Cobb had a video where he's talking about they were green. Is it Hartwell?
on Hartwell. Yeah, no, the bass
Hartwell,
are
yeah.
green.
Yeah.
The bass
Yeah.
the bass are so hard to see. It's not even funny on Lake Hartwell.
Yeah.
Because it's too clear, and they get like this iridescent, like green clear looking. It's crazy. And
I've gone over
those
them
are the
and,
hardest
like,
ones to
missed
tell which way they're turned and everything.
Yeah, I've been going down the bank. I'm like I said, there's one cruising and get to looking. I'm like, what's that green spot? And sit there and look for a little while, and finally you see him on there. I'm like,
Yeah.
hell, that's the bed.
Yeah.
But it's not the big, bright spot everybody's looking for.
Well, I had the
Yeah.
mayor on, Scott Barnes, one time here on Lake Lanier, and he said, I remember him saying something about, because we got that slime grass kind of a little bit on it, but going and seeing a dark spot off the bank about 10 foot, 11 foot, which is typically not a largemouth bed, but it's a spot, and pitching into that. Now that I know what you're talking about, I thought black bed was like a bait,
No,
like some kind of
that
new
could be like a
Japanese
silted
bait.
in
I didn't know
area.
about
It could be a lot of different things, but it's not always that clear pea gravel circle.
We used to
that's
see
been
them on
fanned out.
Toledo Bend. They get that way. They get up around in that grass and that push way back up in that muck.
Yeah.
And same way, you'll see a fish and she's sitting there, and sure enough, they're on a bed. It's just not that pretty because it's not a gravel bottom.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. We're learning again. Tracy Coker, who is one of our smarter viewers right there. Dawn is am I going to say this right?
Surfactant.
A what?
A surfactant.
A surfactant. Surfactants disperse.
What he said.
Yeah.
Yeah,
whatever.
like hell, if I can't even
We're
pronounce it.
in trouble at North Georgia when I'm articulating words.
I can't. Yeah, you are. I can't say nothing. You know that. All right. Jebster wants to know. Oh, this is for us. The question is for Fish North Georgia. Can we go fishing together when you're free? Let's do it, dog. Let's do it. Problem is, hell, I ain't ever free, but we'll do it. All right. Question 7.
Yeah, we're just playing along. We're just cherry picking from a list.
He did his homework for you, Drew. Like he was coming prepared. Got the computer and stuff. So I'm like, I got to give him his time.
So, can you tell what phase a female is during the spawn based on its color? Like the tint of the bass.
Yeah.
Like, is it lighter or darker or whatever?
Yep. So when it's before they've spawned and after they spawn, it kind of gets a little mushy there. But I can tell you whenever you're not going to be able to get her to bite.
All right,
whenever they're like in the actual
throes of love.
There's probably like a 2 or 3 hour window in there that they're almost look clear, and you'll see every black splotch on a female. You will not catch her.
So that's like in the act.
So yeah, that's the old Guido Hibden trick I was telling you about, that he used to put little pebbles on the deck of his boat. So if you could run your line over and she's just stubborn and she don't care, he would take pebbles, throw them up there, scare her off, put his bait in there and hide it in the leaves. And then when she'd come back, he'd try to get her. But it's like the most stubborn, hardest bite you can get. But he'd put little rocks
on his boat and throw it in the water.
Not that we do that now, but anyway.
Is that ethical? Is that legal? How about that? Is that legal in a tournament? Now.
I think people would shy and say that's a bad deal.
Bad deal now?
But in 1987, nobody gave it.
Yeah, it's a different world, man.
It wasn't too long ago I fished a tournament where I guess I got behind somebody that was marking some beds with a golf ball.
Yeah.
And, dude, I could go through a pocket and make bomb casts at golf balls the whole rest of the pocket and catch every damn one of them on a wacky rig. It made life easy.
You were catching bed fish at 80 feet.
Like,
He's marking with golf balls.
Yeah, I was throwing golf balls at the bed.
Yeah.
So you could see them from a long way off.
You never seen that?
No,
Come on.
I ain't never.
Oh,
that's
yeah.
a perfectly good waste of a golf ball. And I don't even like golf.
Well,
I think a
There
golf.
guys that use pink string and tie it to a certain thing so you knew it was 10 feet to the left. Like you get on the bank and you can tie stuff up in the tree, and all right, that bass.
You guys are cheaters from way back, I can tell.
I just saying there was ways to do it.
All right, okay.
Forward-facing sonar might have been a ribbon in a tree.
Yeah. I mean, I've put many weights on a seawall. Like 8-ounce tungsten weight on a seawall, nowhere to throw.
All right, okay, we're learning. We're learning.
The Norris flapper. Have you been using that a lot? It's something that I've been staring at on the old website about buying a bunch of them.
Oh yeah,
I'll get you some.
You need to buy a bunch after this, I think.
Okay, tell me about the Norris flapper.
I think I probably went through about 500 of them this year, and we really didn't even have a sight fishing tournament on the Elite Series that I was involved in.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good bait. I've been thoroughly
What is
impressed with it.
For somebody that doesn't know, what is it?
Man, if I was in fishing mode, I'd have one. I know there's one sitting on my dresser.
Well, you can just describe it. You can describe it.
It's a crawl bait that it's got really good action all the time, but it's got really good action whenever you're shaking it on the bed to where it's actually not moving, just the appendages are moving. And that's all I care about. I want it to move the most without moving the bait.
Right.
Because that's how you catch a lot of bass. I'm sure somebody's going to comment on here, no, you got to hop it in front of their face. Well, that's how you lose a bass right by the boat. When they eat it off the bottom, they're caught most of the time.
Right.
But getting that thing to move as much as it can without sliding the bait through the bed is the key.
Okay.
Because the line that you use, what pound test is that? Like fluorocarbon? Is it heavier than most?
I either use 22 or 20.
We got guys using 10s and 12s.
Oh, up here it's all 10s and 12s.
Yeah.
I don't hang Christmas ornament with anything.
But if a guy up here, if we're talking jig fishing or something, the heaviest I might hear somebody talk about is 17-pound fluoro. That might be the heaviest.
Well, yeah, I'm throwing a jig, but if you're sitting there looking at them, you're gonna put as big a line as you can get away with.
Yeah.
But they still, but I would say, well, I'm just saying that might be considered heavy up here. So they're probably throwing 17 in the bed like that. What brand line you use?
Sunline shooter, 22 and 20 Sunline shooter on pretty much all the Texas rig stuff.
Okay. Is that how you rig it up, Texas rig?
Mm-hmm.
So you rig it up, Texas rig, put it in the bed, and it just sits there and it's doing this.
Yeah, when I'm shaking the line.
It's kind of doing this.
Yeah.
Dennis Rice wants to know if you ever throw a tube.
I do throw a tube. I throw a Toro tube pretty good little bit, but not a regular tube.
Yeah, we don't.
That's
I
a
had a drink
fish
on that
losing.
one. Sorry.
Oh, is that a secret for you? So you had to take a sip?
A lot of people don't throw a tube no more, so I had to take a sip.
Nobody in North Georgia talks about throwing a tube.
Yeah.
I've had in the history of this store, I've had one guy walk in and ask if we carry tubes.
Yeah.
So it's not a very well known bait. Where's the best places to throw a tube in your opinion, Drew?
Man, it's hard to beat flipping if you're actually gonna fish a tube, flipping a tube on a cut bank is in a lay down, like
You do that over a jig?
to each their own. If it's a heavy, like if I'm flipping heavy, thick lay downs, yeah, I would prefer it over a jig because I don't care what type of line tie your jig has or how awesome the design is of your head. That son of a gun will get caught in the thick lay downs.
It's what keeps me in business.
Yeah.
Guys losing jigs. So yeah, you guys keep losing them. I'll keep tying them right there. So get some fishing says Doc. So I guess he's talking about where to flip a jig. I guess popping it up under docks and everything. Let's see, we caught up on questions right there. All right, here, Steve. I want to know how people get their names for their YouTube channels. So Steve wants to know, does Drew use different casting angles much to trigger a bite?
Yeah, absolutely. Depending on like how the fish is, they've always got normally they got like a little core area around the bed that they kind of go through, but every once in a while they'll have a Hail Mary type round, and depending on how that fish is going around and where she's swimming, like especially if she's swimming by something every time, 9 times out of 10 I'm gonna try to catch her off what she's swimming by every time instead of actually catching her off the bed. But like if if the sun's not right or whatever, like, I mean, I've jumped over dock cables and gotten my boat all the way up against the bank and fished towards the dock cable just to have the angle right on a fish. But once you've spent time on a fish at that angle, you're kind of pot committed at that angle. So you got to kind of figure it out pretty quick before you get to, because your boat being there is going to change how something happens.
Okay. All right. There you go. So Michael Temples wants to know, what lake is Drew looking forward to this upcoming year? What lake are you looking forward to, either with the Elites or the NPFL?
That'll be two of them. I really don't even remember the schedule, but I know we're going to Santee in March with the NPFL. That one's not going to suck. And we're going to Hartwell in April.
Yeah.
That one's also going to be good.
That'd be too good. Yeah, we were talking about that before the show. Patrick, is he fishing the NPFL again?
Yes, yeah.
So you two when we were talking about Sandy Cooper, we both their names came up. We were like, yeah, that's a strong lake for those two guys right there.
Wheelhouse.
And Hartwell. Trent Palmer's got an interesting question for you, Mr. Science Guru right here. Explain the science between the difference between the Bush aluminum tall boy versus a standard 12-ounce can.
It's the centrifugal force as you drink it that creates a vortex. I think Miller Lite actually did a glass bottle years ago about the vortex to make it. Well, that's what the aluminum Bush Light does. Can 16-ouncer. It makes the drinking experience a lot better.
I 100% agree with that.
He's correct, because I used to sell them.
You sell them?
I used to work for him. So yeah, he's right.
Oh, I say, yeah, you did work with Bush and them back in the day.
Yeah.
Is that okay? So listen, is that a marketing thing or is that legit?
Keep it going. Just drink them.
Keep it going. Just drink it.
It also keeps, like, if you watch somebody drink a beer and they take several sips and somebody leaves that much down at the bottom.
Yeah.
So what happens is that's where that can get a little skunky if you let it sit too long.
Yeah.
That's why you pour it in a glass, and if you pour it slow down the center, it lets all the foam and what we call the head out. And what that also does, since this is your show, when you pour down this dead center, everybody goes down the corner. That's what you do in a bar. But in a glass, you pour that bottle straight down dead center, and you'll get a thick head. It releases all that air out.
Mm-hmm.
You'll actually drink more. And then when you go to bed with your wife, you won't fart on her. That's the honest to God's truth.
So if you pour down the center of the bottle, you'll have less
the
beer
more
gas
air. Beer gas gets released, and you will actually drink more beer, and then the bar makes more money.
Whatever. Does that sound legit to you there, Drew?
Yeah. I pulled all that stuff out of my ass earlier, but yeah. I like it. But
you were actually legit. Yeah.
The aluminum bottles have been very good to the NPFL house this year. Every time we've had them,
keeps it colder longer.
We had them at Hartwell. I think we all came in the top 10. We had them at Pickwick. I think Patrick won. I came in second. Trent came in fourth. And Mike came in top 10. And then we had them at Lake of the Ozarks. So somebody is in contention to win or wins every time that we have them. So that's why whenever they were in Missouri, we don't have them right here where I'm from or anywhere around anymore. I bought all they had at a grocery store on the way home. So I'm gonna make sure at the next couple of tournaments we got luck on our side.
So what you're saying is the key to being successful as a professional angler is the type of beer you're drinking while fishing the tournament.
Correct. The nights before the tournament.
The night before the tournament.
Yeah.
All right. Speaking of which, King of Bass wants to know, how many Bush peaches do you drink in one evening? I can tell you right here, this first one I've ever had, it goes down easy.
You can put a hurting on them if you get after it. You could definitely do it. Couple 2, 3, maybe
8, 9, like that. So Trent said at Saginaw we ran out day 2. That's right.
That's right. That is 100% true. But we bought that beer in Alabama on the way up there, and then we found a grocery store there that had 2 cases, and so we dispersed them out, and we made it to day 2, and Trent lost by an ounce.
So did Trent drink all his like too quickly? He didn't pace himself, or what was the deal?
Well, I think it doesn't pay dividends to Trent because he doesn't ever buy beer. He
Oh,
just drinks beer.
is he one of those? See, I learned a long time ago. If I went to parties, I always brought the nastiest, darkest beer you could buy because nobody wanted to share with you. If you came up with Busch Light or something, everybody wanted to drink your beer.
Yeah.
So I would buy. I mean, I would go to a party with Guinness.
Mhm.
People were like, "What the heck?" But hey, listen, I had it all to myself. So
No.
Michael Temples wants to know how much beer does an NPFL angler drink on a tournament weekend?
We're talking about a house full of 5 people now. So
That's right. Now, this is a highbrow podcast, okay? So we're covering the legit reality of tournament fishing. None of this glimmer, glancy, whatever stuff. The cold, hard, raw truth.
I can tell you whenever we have blast-offs at 10:30 in the morning and we don't
Yep.
weigh in until dark, it gets nasty.
You're just trying to stay hydrated.
That tournament was brutal. It was fun. Dang.
So, how about this? From a professional tournament angler standpoint, what's the best thing for a hangover tournament morning?
You got to have some liquid IVs on deck. But the key is before you go to sleep, you got to drink a liquid IV, and you got to have one as soon as you wake up, and then follow it with a Dr. Pepper, and you'll be good to go.
The chaser.
So 2 liquid IVs, one in the night before, one in the morning, and a Dr. Pepper.
Yeah, sugar.
Hey,
You need the sugar.
perfect, 100%. Christopher W. Henry, did you fish the Ozarks with the NPFL a few weeks ago? How hard was it to get them to bite?
I did fish on the Ozarks, and
It was tough.
It was very tough. I think I ended up in 3rd. I lost by like 8 or 10 ounces, I think. But I had 7 or 8 keeper bites the first day, which was a lot more than I ever thought I was going to get. The second day, I had 6 keeper bites, lost 1 nice one. And the third day, I had 7 keeper bites again. Just 2 of them have to be, or 3 of them were 5-pounders. So that helped.
That kind of that helps right there. So there were a lot of people in that tournament.
That was a tough tournament.
Didn't weigh in, but I mean, there was a lot of. I mean,
yeah,
the whole field. It was tough.
The guy that won it didn't weigh but what 13 fish in. He didn't have
I
a
think he
limit.
weighed 3 the first day, a limit the second day, and 4 the third day.
Yeah,
Wow.
He didn't even have a full 15.
But if you catch the right ones,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I was one of 5 to catch a limit all 3 days.
Really,
That's how tough it was.
That's tough right there. Silver Punk says drink a Z-Biotics before you start drinking. You won't wake up with a hangover. There you go. Fish North Georgia tip of the night. And Christopher W. Henry says, what part of the lake did you fish? Because I believe he lives up in that area. That's Kevin Underwood's brother.
Okay.
Yeah.
It was river, Niagara River, Niangua, something like that. It was as far as a bass boat could go up that river, whatever that one was.
Headed west.
Yeah.
Just jump the little sandbar and just go.
I like how he says it. He's like me. It looked good and I fished it. I can't tell you the name of it, but it looked good and I fished it. Trent said it was brutal. And the 615 he caught Sage's tournament, #lucky right there. So, but I mean, what was your big fish for the entire tournament? Your big fish personally?
I'm not sure. I never weighed them on the scale on the tournament scale, but I had 3 5-pounders the last day.
That'll
those
work.
were all 3 of the biggest ones I caught.
Right there. So Steven is Pellerin, right? I always mess up Steph's last name. So Drew, Stephanie is going to try the beer thing at Lake Murray, see if that improves her results. So I personally, I have met Stephanie and all that, and I highly recommend what he's saying. It sounds like an absolute cheat code for success for a professional angler.
100%.
100%. I love it. I love it. All right. So Christopher said we had a kayak event, and I was in Lynn Creek, and it was brutal for all of us. So, but was that lake turning over? Because a lot of guys are dealing with a turnover around here.
Yeah, there was a huge section of it that was like nasty turnover, but like where I caught 2 5-pounders the third day, which was in one of those turnover, like the nasty area, just because like I really didn't have much to go on. So I told my camera guy, he's like, how far are we going? Where are we starting? I was like, I have no idea. I don't know what we're going to throw either. And I tied a whopper plopper on, the only black whopper plopper I had in my boat. And the first point that I stopped
He's in
on,
the Midwest. It works.
my third cast, I caught a 5-pounder, and I was like, damn, all right.
Well, that's what Emil said. It works out in the Midwest.
It works.
I hate that bait.
Yeah.
I can't stand that bait. And it's a good bait. It's just me. I know that for sure.
Some violent strikes.
It does. Okay, so
they're ferocious.
Would you rather throw a whopper plopper or a buzz bait?
Buzz bait every day, all day. The hell with a whopper plopper.
So what made you throw a whopper plopper there and not a buzz bait?
Because I hadn't thrown it yet.
And all tried everything else? Okay. That makes sense.
I'd thrown a buzz bait a good bit and caught some nice ones in practice and thought that was what I was going to do the whole tournament. I thought I was literally just going to throw a buzz bait all day, every day. Well, after like the first 3 or 4 hours of the first day, I didn't have a bite on a buzz bait. I was like, this is not going to work.
Right.
And I think that there was so many people throwing the buzz bait too. Because like where the fish were, it was like it had to be around something like a cable in the water or like underneath the dock walkway, and everybody was skipping a buzz bait, and they didn't want to throw the whopper plopper up there and shatter it. So
skipping it. I got you. All right, get some fishing. Serious question here. What's your favorite winter wear to stay warm?
My winter or normal people's winter?
Let's go normal people winter, because you said you were in shorts.
Yeah, normal people winter. I like a hydronaut suit. I like to wear. I always wear gloves, but I don't always wear the fingerless gloves. But it seems like I still only wear the fingerless gloves. But I wear boots. I wear mid layer, all AFCO stuff. But I like to put a lot of stuff on. Because you can always take stuff off, but if you don't have it, you're going to be cold. And once you get cold on the water, dude.
You're done.
One thing is with the gloves, like especially in a tournament, you got to have like 6-7 pairs of gloves. Because once they get wet, it's over. But AFCO actually just came out with some waterproof gloves that are.
Have you tried them? I just ordered some.
I did try them. I tried them at Lake of the Ozarks, and they are they are 100% waterproof, and you can throw a bait caster and a spinning rod in them. So
that's awesome.
That's all you need.
Mine came in Saturday because I tell you, I got radals real bad, so I get to a point where my fingers just don't work, and I use Fish Monkey and all that works good, but every tournament day in the winter, I'm like, please don't let it rain. Because I've got like 8 pairs of gloves back there, and I can wear them about 2 hours. I take them off, dry my hands off, warm them back up. And I saw those came out, maybe you, Strader, it hit Instagram, and I went to ordering.
Yeah, no, they're. I'm very impressed with them. I don't know if I'll get to actually. I'll probably get to use them once or twice this year, but
I'll let you know. I gotta have. I mean, it's.
They're cool because they got the touch screen thing. So I
can still work my graphs and everything else.
Still work your graphs.
I tell you, when I will actually use them this year is probably in the deer stand. Whenever it does get cold here and we get to hunt, that way I can still look through my cell cameras while I'm in the deer stand complaining about I went to the wrong place.
Are they rutting down there where you're at?
No.
Really?
Not yet.
Oh, because is his deer on the Alabama time? Because that Alabama rut's always behind.
No, it's not that bad. So I could map out. I could get you down here for 3 days, and you'd be here the best 3 days of the year. December 13th, 14th, and 15th.
of
of December.
December. See, I know we're talking fishing, but that's it. Because like middle Georgia, it's right about now. Up here, it's generally around Thanksgiving. He's farther south, and he's in December. And hell, in Alabama, it might be January for them.
See, where I came from, it's the 24th, the 25th, and the 26th. Because I used to have a business down there. I did food plots and stuff for people, and I had one of my best customers. Every year for the first 4 years I had that piece of property I set up for them, they killed a giant on Christmas Eve, and his wife wouldn't let him call me to come clean the deer because we knew we were going to family for church. She's like, you can't call him tonight.
I think that's crazy. But again, hell, it's all
but if you go like down past Macon, the dates where a guy had me come down are those exact dates in December.
Yep. Well, he said in December.
Yeah.
And that's the primary rut, not the secondary rut.
Yep. Yeah.
The first rut.
They'll rut until
middle of January.
I still got spotted fawns now. I've literally seen deer breed a doe in turkey season, so the first of March. But where I'm at right now, 2 counties over, last week was gangbusters.
See, that's
but that was a lot of the deer that back apparently years and years and years ago when there was no deer, they brought in a bunch of Midwest deer down here, and that's why they're really big deer over there.
Yeah,
and they rut, Thanksgiving.
Okay,
they extended our season in Louisiana. Like ours, where you hunt till like the end of February and 15th of February.
Really?
Mm-hmm. It keeps getting later and later every year.
No.
It's global warming or something. I know somebody will say that. That's why we got armadillos up here now.
Mm-hmm.
It's global warming.
Y'all didn't have armadillos?
Dude, 5 years ago, armadillos just showed the hell up. We had possums dead on the road, and all of a sudden armadillos just showed up everywhere. And people have said it's because of global warming, but whatever.
Are they seven? Are they 7-ring armadillos or 5-ring?
I don't touch the damn things. I don't know. They're always dead on the road. Is there a difference?
Different. Yeah.
All right, tell me about it.
The 5-ring ones are from like Florida down this area. The 7 ones are from Texas, and they look the same, but there's 7 like rings, and then there's 5.
I'll go shoot one this weekend, and we'll figure it out. The damn things are everywhere. All of a sudden, like one day I'm driving up the road, I'm like, "Is that a freaking armadillo?" That's been about 4 years ago, and now they're like everywhere.
Well, I said the same thing when I saw the first groundhog up here. I'm like, "What the hell is that?"
Yeah, we got groundhogs everywhere. He's gonna go get him another one, so we're gonna give him a break. Guys, listen, hey, if you got questions for Drew and you don't want to talk about deer hunting, make sure you put them in the comment section. I know we're going to get back up to one. I think Dennis Rice will be the next one right there. We got to let the man re-up right there. So he's back. There we go. I might pop that as well. There we go. Here we go. I'm digging these peaches. Dude, I'm digging these peaches. Huh?
Let me get one.
Would you like one?
Yeah.
You can be able to press the buttons. Now, we ain't going to have to cut you off, right? Now I'm just playing with you. It's not bad at all. The only reason we are drinking, I like Bush, but the peach tonight is in honor of our guest.
Yes,
absolutely. Good choice though. At Seminole in early March, what area would you concentrate on?
The middle grounds where all the rivers and creeks meet. There's 3 main rivers on Seminole, and you got the Flint, the Hooch, and Spring Creek. That 3 or 4 mile area around there, I'd throw a trap and a chatterbait until I was blue in the face.
What brand chatterbait you throw?
Throw a jackhammer. Throw some Japanese ones a little bit, but
I want to ask you.
I like that Evo one. Pretty good. The Evo tungsten one's nice.
Right. I don't guess you ever throw a slobber knocker, do you?
No.
I just want to find somebody that'll help me actually sell the damn thing. Listen, I got a store full of them. They're going to start going in prize baskets or something. So, Berkeley makes some good ones, but that damn slobber knocker does not move off the shelf. I will say this, and I'm not knocking Berkeley at all, but I think when people come in and they want a chatterbait, the jackhammer, it's just 20 to 1. 20 to 1. All right, so what kind of gun do you use? You bow hunt or you gun hunt? That's a question from Get Some Fishing.
I bow hunt like 90% of the time, especially before I had 2 kids. That's all I did was bow hunting.
You like the
But,
bow hunt? I like that.
I gun hunt every once in a while, especially now that I'm taking my oldest boy with me a lot. Gun hunt. But
Well, good for you. I'm glad you're doing that. Start them young right there.
Dude, he
Who-
can't stand it, man. He is ate up with fishing and hunting. It don't matter. He's planted every food plot with me. He's filled up feeders with me all year long. He's earned it.
That is awesome. I have a son that is 23, and he hates to fish. He thinks fishing is the most boring thing out there, but he likes to duck hunt. But his duck hunting is not out west where the ducks are. He sits on Lake Lanier and waits for that one damn duck to fly over. He'll wait 4 hours for that one duck or that one goose to come over. And I look at him like, that's boring. That right there is boring as hell. So, cameraman Cletus wants to know of your, and I'm going to assume he's talking about your NPFL house. Who's the best cook?
Patty. Patty's the best cook for sure.
What's his specialty?
He's pretty good all around, but his fried chicken is pretty top notch. His steaks are good. All of it's good.
He can cook.
But we do it up right at those things.
He can do that. Patrick got voted best ass to look at while fishing forward facing sonar around here. Did you know that?
I didn't. He's damn sure got a big one.
that was what I was hoping he was going to say. Him and them damn shorty shorts and all that stuff.
A lot of ass and a little short.
Hey, listen, I'm serious. Well, if you're going to be stared at your butt, you might as well carry something back there.
Right.
I believe that I can reference that Alexis, Texas comment you made back in the day. I don't know if you remember making it on the last podcast. Do you remember that?
That was months ago.
Yeah, so we were talking about Trump, and I was bringing up Stormy Daniels.
Oh.
Yeah, you said Alexis. So that will be Patrick's new nickname. We'll just call him Alexis. He might not ever talk to me ever again if he sees me. All right, go on, scroll down. So we got any more questions for the mayor? You got some questions you want to interject? Well, go ahead. Oh, let me hit Michael's real quick because that's an important one. How does Drew break down a new lake?
As much information as I can find online, which is a pile now. Past tournament, wins, big multi-day tournaments. Because there's always on most lakes there's a section of the lake that wins statistically more than anywhere else, and so I do that, a bunch of Google Earth, and I'll spend my 2 days in those couple areas that are known for winning, and then I'll spend my other day just on what I saw that looked good, that is kind of off the wall, in the opposite direction of where it's supposed to go. And like anywhere any major creek arm meets the the main river channel in the lake, that creek's always normally going to be the best.
You want to be in play right there. What's your favorite lake in the country?
I mean, that's a tough one. Probably Santee's one of my favorites. It's done me good.
I could see that.
I mean, I like going up north too. Those like Champlain. Champlain's probably really fun. It it's got the largemouth and the smallmouth.
Okay. Let's see. Has he ever thrown a topwater bait? Okay, how about let's do this. What's your favorite topwater bait?
I mean, what kind of topwater are we talking? Like,
okay, let's say if you're power fishing a bank.
I throw like a popping frog probably most of the time. Power fishing on the bank. If I'm throwing like a walking bait, but one of my favorites though is a prop bait, especially
like a devil's horse or something.
Devil's horse whenever there's needlefish, or not the actual devil's horse, but like a long prop bait whenever there's needlefish around. But most of the time, like a brim prop bait.
What are you saying? Damn it for?
Cause that's a secret.
You didn't want him to say that.
That's why I had to take a sip. My can's done.
Oh, he's over here. Well, he's over here sipping every time he don't want you to
Prop
say
bait's
something.
a very good bait that's been forgotten.
It has.
Oh, yeah.
And it still works really well.
What about fishing history? Does it bite you in the ass sometimes? Going back to a spot that you may have fished before or something like that.
Yeah, most of the time it does bite you in the ass, honestly.
Yeah.
It really does. And especially like if you did really good there, especially with the live and stuff that we have now. I mean, you might as well just burn the damn thing to the ground the first time, because it's never going to be the same.
Oh, yeah, because people go fish it. How about this? What is the most overrated topwater bait in your opinion? He's thinking about it.
I am thinking about it. Probably that damn whopper popper, honestly.
I knew he was
Thank
gonna
you.
Say that.
I love it. No, seriously. That's what Emil said.
Danny's head will be big for a month.
The more guys say
Hellraiser.
the Hellraiser's a little different.
No, I agree with that one. I was not a huge fan of that one. The first time I ever saw that thing was at an open on Hartwell, and my co-angler had it tied on. And the first cast he made with it, it looked like a cinder block fell in the water.
Yeah.
Damn. And, he never caught one on it.
Listen, I've thrown that thing a few times, and I'm like, there is nothing on God's green earth that looks like a Hellraiser coming across the top of the water. So
I'm sure somewhere at some point in time one will bite it.
Oh yeah, well, I mean, they gotta be starving or something.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you that plopper's just been really good up there in those Ozark lakes, and like I said, go to the Coosa.
Listen, I'm not saying it don't have its place.
I know, but I can't get them biting on Lanier.
And-
I've thrown it.
and
Chapo
you know what?
works good down here.
A Chapo?
Yeah, I use it all the time.
Yeah, but listen, I think that the hookup ratio on a whopper plopper style bait is not as good as other baits of a similar
You
thing.
hook 90% of them right here.
Under the chin.
Under it, yeah.
That's like the softest stuff on the bass is right here.
Yeah.
Like,
That's
I'd
another
almost rather
hookup.
throw it without the hook on the back of it, or like with like a number 6 hook on the back of it.
Yeah. Smart. Have you ever done that? How about this? When you get a new bait, do you ever tinker with it, change hook sizes straight out of the package? I know the answer is yes. I know it's the answer. What's your most common modification on a bait?
A lot of it's like lead wire. You know.
Yeah. Waiting
Lead
in a little
wire. Yeah, and upsizing, putting short shank hooks, and a lot of times like a beefier hook, depending on what I'm throwing.
Right. So Matt O'Connell, Matt O Fishing says, my co-angler in the All-American at Hartwell threw the hell out of a Hellraiser and never got a bite on it. That goes to there's two types of baits, those that catch fish and those that catch anglers. 100% I think that is. Talking about a plop from a bait, any way to keep a bait from hitting the water so hard?
And then feather it on the cast,
That's about all you really can do, right?
Yeah. Not cast it far.
Yeah, just lob it, pitch it right on there.
Yeah.
All right, throw him out a question there. I know you've been itching to ask one for
I
the
need you to
past
fill
hour.
that up. Real
I
quick,
will,
'cause-
but ask the man a question.
All right. Some of these guys out there are fishing for spawning fish now using like a tapered leader. And I know like Sunline makes like fine float, and some people have tied tapered leader to it. Have you done something similar to that with a tapered leader?
Yeah, I've actually I got a whole drawer full of it right here. I played with it a bunch.
Yep.
I really like it for whenever you're fishing around rocks. Tying the small end, to my braid, and the big end to stuff. So that way I've got that much 16-pound line, but the whole rest of it's 10, But
he flips his leader.
Yeah, so you turn it. Yeah.
It'd be the other way of what it was, I think, intended for. But
I have guys that come in here and buy a trout leader to put on the end of their braid because they want now again, we're finesse fishing up here.
Mhm.
but they want that thinnest part down there on their shaky head or on their drop shot.
Flip it.
But he's flipping it, and the purpose is for what? Say that
Abrasion.
again.
Abrasion resistance.
Resistance at
Yeah,
abrasion
like-
at the bait.
Yeah.
Mm.
It's just like this. If you catch a big spot on a shaky head on 10-pound test, and that sucker's hooked way back, kind of the back of his mouth, when you pull him out and you unhook him, look at that leader. It's chewed up
From his teeth.
from his teeth. And if he can go to 16 right there, he doesn't have to worry about it breaking as easy.
Okay.
Mhm.
Can I ask a question from somebody that is not?
Do your
Why
thing.
wouldn't you just run 16 all the way up to your knot?
Because then I got 16 all the way, and they can see
Yeah.
it.
Oh, you're talking
but-
about, okay, so
but
you're
I've
doing
got,
it for visibility.
I've got 10-pound up here,
Gotcha.
and it's only
Okay.
16 that far, from the bait.
Drew, I got a question. Does the shooter come in big bulk spools?
Yeah, there's 660 spools.
That's the biggest spools.
Yeah,
Okay.
they won't put that high quality of a line on a 12,000 yard or 1,200 yard spool.
Okay.
Why
Yeah,
is that?
I was watching some of Cruz's stuff when they
How
were
they
over
stretch
there,
it.
and
Mm.
And then they
Welcher when they went to the factory a while back, a couple weeks ago, I guess. And I just didn't see any bulk spools. I go through so much line. I was hoping for like a 1,200 yard one.
Dude, I've tried to get 5,000 yard spools, a 22-pound shooter.
Man's
I
tried,
just want a
so-
5-gallon bucket size spool line, so that way I can just have all the line I'm gonna need all year, and just put it in the truck and be done. But,
Yeah.
That'll work. All right, pull up Clarence's question. Do you ever tie your hooks on with braid? And now that's kind of, I don't know exactly what you're talking about. I do know some guys that will take their trebles off of their whatever
Take the
bait,
split ring off.
take the split ring off, tie it with braid. So I assume that's what he's talking about. Do you ever do anything like that?
Sure.
Sure.
That's a sipper.
He
There's
said-
a
Okay. Zach Lamb, what's your take on a no entry fee payouts? He talked about this earlier. He thinks the no entry fee is great. There's still lots of work to do. Is that basically the way
Yep.
we summed it up? We're going to try not to get too deep down that rabbit hole tonight. So we're just trying to get all the juice out of them about fishing tonight. So next question.
All right. When you got your glasses, most people use amber. Do you ever throw like your lures out there using a different color lens? So a lot of guys use gray, amber, but sometimes people might use like a high yellow or green, blue.
Are we talking bed fishing?
Oh yeah.
Okay, bed fishing.
Yeah, I change my glasses a lot. Even going from like a amber with a bronze mirror, amber to a green mirror, there's a little bit of a difference. But you change your glasses all the time. Like I probably change them every hour or so because it makes your eyes refocus back in, and it'll keep your eyesight pretty keen. But yeah, like a sunrise type lens, a yellow lens, especially early in the morning. But you'll actually find the clearer the water, the darker amber you want. So like a green mirrored amber will be better than a yellow lens. But like,
Okay,
if it's
so
rainy, overcast, then a lighter colored lens is better. Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Mhm. All
Good.
right.
What's next?
After the first full moon, do you believe the new moon is the better moon or the better
100%.
phase?
100%.
Okay. Well, all right, well, let's expound on that a little bit for those of us that aren't lunar equipped.
Well, so like here or around here, the first full moon that say like everything lines up perfect, yeah, you could hit a home run with it, and it could be one of those deals where it was like the St. Johns River in 2019, where every bass swam to the bank. But 9 times out of 10, it's not that good. But after that first full moon in the spawning cycle, you can count on the new moon. You can't count on the next full moon. Like, it really doesn't matter. As long as it's not freezing on that new moon, they're coming. and they're coming hard, especially if you did have a botched full moon. So like if it was looking perfect and, you know, you had a bunch of males get up there and then it got really cold and females never made it, that new moon's going to be good, no matter, as long as it's not snowing. Like, it's going to be really good.
Okay, I see what he's saying now.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
When you're throwing on a bed, most guys, they want this perfect, clean bed. But when you throw your bait out there, are you trying to grab leaves or something to, like, let's say, camouflage the bait just a little bit or do something a little different to it versus it just being blatantly out there in the middle?
Oh, yeah, sometimes, you know, you want to hide it and kind of surprise. It's just like, man, if how many times, well, I don't know if y'all do it a bunch, but like how many times have you been deep cranking way before live scope and just been reeling the piss out of it and stopped it and one just ran into it and ate it? It's because that bait stopped, or you're jerking a jerk bait, jerk, and you stop it and he eats it because he's tracking it. And when it stops in front of him, he's already going. He's got nothing left to do but eat it. It's because instincts. And same thing whenever you surprise one. You know, most of the time they just react and eat it, especially the first time.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You're asking some good questions
I'm
tonight.
on my second can of beer because I shouldn't be asking some of these.
No, I'm letting you ask these questions tonight. You're making my job easy.
When you got like a co-angler and you tell them to throw a drop shot and you watch some of these guys tie it on, are you using a bobber stop to make that hook at perfect 90-degree angle for a bedded fish?
So we're throwing a drop shot at a bedded fish.
Yep, but are you using a bobber stop so that hook is dead flat perfect?
Hell, I thought if you tied a good Palomar knot, it'd be that way.
Try again. Okay.
All right. So what's your take on there, Drew?
First off, don't tie the Palomar knot. But second,
Okay.
yeah, sometimes you can do that.
Sometimes you
That's
can
a
do
sipper.
that. That's a sipper. Look, there you go. He's sipping. All right. Well, let me ask you this, just based on your answer. Why not the Palomar knot? Because I will tell you this: anybody up here in North Georgia that's teaching somebody how to throw a drop shot, it's always Palomar knot. So, what do you use and why?
I don't even know what the name of the knot is, honestly, but I would tie a cinch knot on a drop shot and put the leader back through before I tied a Palomar knot. The Palomar knot was good when you tied it good, but the chances of a bad knot were so much higher.
Okay.
And it was nothing that you could like really and truly see with your eyes. So I tie the one that's got it's got 3 tag ends.
San Diego Jam.
San Diego,
No.
San Diego Jam
No,
is what
no.
I'm hearing in here. Nope, not San Diego.
It's
Is it a swindle knot?
You go through the eye and you come back through, so it's almost like a polymer, and then you pretty much tie like a regular old fisherman's knot. Go down there like 4 or 5 times, go back through it, and wet it, pull it, and you got 1 tag end that goes up the main line and 2 tag ends that come out by your hook eye. You cut the 2 tag ends by your hook eye and go back through the eye with your main line. That is by far the best knot, especially for really light line, because you got an extra piece of line in there to give you cushion from the other line. It won't burn.
Everywhere it's there's 2 pieces of line. It's doubled, I believe. I think that's a swindle knot that he's tied for years and years and years.
So he got to name it.
I don't know.
Is that the hay bale knot?
Yeah, that's the one. He
does?
don't. His daddy used to tie in hay bales, and he don't even know the name of it.
Okay, sounds legit to me. But don't tie the Palomar if you can learn this knot. That's what you're saying.
Yes, I am not a fan of the Palomar knot at all.
Okay, so Tony says the bass fishing HQ guy calls it the double Pitson knot. I don't know what it is, but it's the best damn knot, and that's from Tony right there. I guess we'll be learning a new knot because I hate tying the Palomar anyway. Now that I have an excuse that it's just a crap knot, we're going to learn that one. So
here's a question for you: when you tie and braid to fluoro, what knot do you use there?
Alberto.
Ah,
Listen,
that's my man.
He tied an FG. I can't tie it. My fingers are too fat, and I ain't got enough patience to wrap it around my head, hold it in my mouth, do this.
No.
But I will say this is still on my line.
It's yeah, it'll be there forever too.
It's a good knot. It's good. Do you do that old? What is it? You said 24.
I do 28 on the little stuff.
What do you do?
I do
How many
20,
loops do you do
I do
on your
22 on the big stuff.
It depends on how little it is. Like if I'm throwing like
10.
4 or 5 pound line, I'll do it like 30 or 40 times each. But if it's like 10-pound line, I do 22 times. Just be done. And I'll start the tournament with a 12 or 14 foot long leader, and by the time day 3 rolls around and I've retied, I might retie my leader. But you don't have to worry about it. And I can tie one just as quick or quicker than I can tie an Alberto now. So like it.
Me too.
Yeah, it's just practice.
Yeah, it's practice. Do you glue your tag in, Drew?
Nope.
Where you trim the braid, you don't glue it?
Mm-mm.
That's the only thing I do different. I drop one little soup.
Hell, I glue my Alberto because I don't trust the damn
I need to get him
I do the whole damn knot. I don't do the tag ends. I put super glue across the whole thing.
I
Goes to the guy going.
I gave you too much glue.
You did give me. He's my glue distributor right here. So I got glue on everything.
Yeah, he's got Loctite all over everything.
Shout out to Loctite.
Yeah,
it will hold your braid to fluoro perfectly.
And show you head worm on there too.
All right, go ahead.
You work for Loctite?
Yeah.
No shit.
So if you go to Home Depot, you're helping me with my bonus.
You come stay at my house. There's some on my wall.
We need to hook you two guys up right there, don't we?
Wow.
I just got to do a sample order, and then. But yeah, I help take care of a few of the guys.
Loctite everywhere.
Oh yeah, you got the epoxy too.
Yeah, that's what I put my
That's for tweaking, man. That's for bait tweaking.
That's a drink right there.
Yeah, I might. Yeah, I got to do another sample order.
Next time you bring me some,
there's a bunch of it in a Bass Cat service truck at every event. I can tell you that because I drove it over there.
Yeah, so yeah.
But yeah, we can do another sample. I need to do it one anyway.
You need to give Drew some Loctite, dude. What kind you use? What's your favorite Loctite? I'm gonna put the pressure on him right now.
You want more, and you got enough.
The red or the blue squeeze sides. I guess it's actually a black top.
You want the gel.
You want the gel.
Give the man some gel.
Because it cures as soon as it hits the water.
Yeah.
Like as soon as you put it on your bait, throw it in the water and it's cured.
That's right.
You don't have to wait for it to dry or nothing like that.
Yeah.
Shout out to Loctite.
I'm telling you, it'll hold a shaky head worm on there till there's no worm left.
Yeah.
Except for what's glued.
Hey, look, I believe
I got some at the house.
Well, let's hook Drew up.
I'll be at the office tomorrow.
All right, there you go.
Let's see. I don't want to ask
this question. Ask it.
I don't want to ask.
Don't be a poon. Ask the question.
All right. This is for Stephanie if she's listening too, but this is an old trick that I got taught one time. So when we first came out with this elastic style worms that don't tear, have you ever tied like a worm in a knot and do it? You got to do it just right. Yeah, but like if you let's say you take a straight worm and then you just tie an overhand knot and you pull it just right and you pitch it up on the bed, that thing will unravel and smack that bass right in the face. Have you ever done that?
Never done that.
That's a Guido Hibden trick.
Hibden trick.
Yeah.
It
requires a ton of patience.
I will tell you probably the most extreme I've ever gotten on one. And this was back in the day, like wasn't tournament fishing, but it was personal, you know. I took a little balsa crankbait and fed it through the eye of a pyramid weight, like a 3-ounce pyramid weight, and pitched the whole thing onto the bed. And that crankbait would float to the surface, and you could pull it down to that weight, and it was just going right in front of his face the whole time.
Yeah,
that's pretty damn interesting.
But when you got a 3-ounce weight that's going all up and down the line, the chances of landing are not good.
I was going to ask you if you ever
Georgia thing. I think.
Have you ever thrown a Tokyo rig on a bed?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Like you just smiling. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Keep going. Hell, you ask. I don't have to do the show tonight.
I'm on my second beer.
I imagine he'll throw whatever he has to throw.
All right. If you catch a female first, what's the percentage of chance you'll catch the male?
100.
Okay.
100%.
Yeah.
I mean, unless you lose him, you know.
All right, let me ask you this because I know that Jesse Millsaps mentioned this one time on the show, and I heard him talk about it on others. He'll throw up in there on the bed. If the male picks it up, he lets it go off and drop it. He never sets the hook on the male first, and he will do that. And he says eventually the female's just going to get pissed off at the male for not doing his job, and she'll take care of it.
Right.
Do you agree or disagree?
100%. I shook
100%.
one off. Shook one off at Santee in 22. Whenever I won, my camera guy was counting, and he watched me do like this every time. It was like 75 times
In a day,
and
or
finally,
in a tournament.
in a couple hours, like 2 hours maybe, because I had two females on the bed. I had one that was an 8-pounder and one that was like 11-pounder, and this one male that was like a 2-pounder. And I got greedy the first time, and I shook the 8-pounder off because I was trying to catch the big one, and the male kept biting it and swimming it off, and finally, after like an hour and a half, he swam it off. And I had already caught the bass because I thought the one of them ate it after I shook the 8-pounder off. I thought one of them had it, and I set the hook, and it was the male, and I threw him back in there, and he kept, swimming it off. And finally, he swam it off just far enough to where it took him too long to get back, and I was able to get her fired up, and I caught her, and that was the only reason was because that male finally got far enough. If I could have caught that male and threw him like a football behind me, then it would have worked.
Right.
But it was a 2.5-pound decrease if I was to cull out my smallest fish and put that male in the live well, because I thought about doing that multiple times, but I was like, I'm gonna give up 2.5 pounds, and then the females are not gonna bite, or I'm a loser or something like that. So I just didn't do it. But it'd have been a lot quicker if I'd have done that.
How long did that whole process take?
It took probably close to 2 hours because there was two females on there, and like the first hour I was greedy. I was fishing for that like 11-pounder, like,
Yeah.
because I was going to catch the 11-pounder, that 8-pounder, and then we were going to go to the dock. Like,
Right. Yeah.
Because I had like 2 7s already. Like it was a good day, and I got greedy. And if I'd have just caught the 8-pounder the first time she bit it, then my chances of catching the 11 would have been a lot better.
I got you. I have a question because I know, and this is just for me. We've got 2 guys from North Georgia fishing the elites next year, and Paul Marks Jr. and Emil Wagner. All right, you're an experienced, big time angler. What bit of advice would you give to these 2 young guys coming up, and all the rookie class coming up this year?
In years past, I've said, man, just worry about fishing. But I mean, that's kind of what all these boys are doing now. Is just worried about fishing.
Yeah.
I would fish as much. I mean, but like they fished 9 open tournaments last year, all over the country. So like, it's not a guy that was from the Southeast that qualified in 3 tournaments, never been up north or never been to Texas or nothing like that fishing. So like, I would tell them to focus on fishing and, go fish different stuff, but they've fished all different stuff. I would say less is best.
Yeah.
And just fish, man. Like, don't get in political stuff. Just go bassing.
Just yeah, that's good. That's good advice. Do you think with each successive rookie class, the anglers are getting better and better and better?
100%.
Yeah, because I talked to when Slick was on, he was talking about how back in the day, and of course he's older than you and all, there was no information, and now these kids not only and take the live scope out of it because I think that's a bad excuse, but they've got so much information and time, and they put it to use. But it seems like every single year, they're just better and better and better. You think it's because of the information that they got that maybe the older anglers didn't have?
Yeah, and whenever they were like 8, 7, 9 years old, and they decided they wanted to be a professional fisherman, like that's all they've done. So like 20 years ago, that wasn't a thing until, that guy was 25 years old framing houses, and was like, hey, let me go fish these opens, because pretty decent at bass fishing around the house, and they got one coming to my home lake, and then he qualifies for the elite. Like, that's not how all this worked out. Like, they
Yeah.
saw something a long time ago. It was like, that's what I want to do. And cause that's how it was for me. Whenever I was a little kid, like, that's all I wanted to do.
Yeah, that was my next question. When did you decide you wanted to fish professionally?
Dude, when I was in first grade, I said that I was going to be a professional fisherman. I didn't specify what I was going to be professional fishing at, but like something, that's how it was going to go down. And
Yeah,
I'll be damned if
that's
I
what
didn't
you're
do
going to
it.
do. Well, at what point in your climb and all that did you say, you know what, I'm good enough to fish on the level that you're fishing now? What convinced you in your mind?
Started doing pretty decent around the house, and man, around my house, and this is, like everybody's home lake, there's some really good fishermen, and a couple of them had fished on a professional tour or whatever, but started winning some around the house, and started fishing the bigger team trails, where they had nice championships, and I won 2 championships on Gunnersville in the fall, and that gave me enough money to fish the opens. And so I said, I'm going to fish all the opens for a year. And, just to say I did. And if I make enough money, then I'll fish them again. If I don't, then we tried, and we made enough money, and then we made it. And so here I am.
Trent said that you decided when he had the Tony the Tiger Skeeter.
I did have a Tony the Tiger Skeeter.
So when he says Tony the Tiger, are we talking about orange and black? And
it was orange and black. And I had we were in college, and there was a plantation down here that I had talked into a sponsorship, but he got to pick out my wrap. And it was like a 2001 ZX 225 Skeeter, and it was literally Tony the Tiger. It was orange and black and had some white in it. Southland Plantation on the side. Couldn't miss me.
Couldn't miss him. Well, there you go. At least he was noticed.
It was good advertisement.
I got a few, but we're gonna with next year's changes on electronics, what do you think your setup's going to be like? And then the Fish Obsessed mount that I know Trent sells that because I bought one from him. I really like that. Are you using those?
Oh yeah, I sold every person that lives on Lake Fork one of those in 2019 or no, 2020. That dude watched me cream some stumps, and I just pull my trolling motor up and fix my mount. And he was like, dude, I don't know what that thing is, but like the greatest thing since sliced cheese or sliced bread and squirt cheese. Like that was the deal, because they kept breaking them. Like he literally had a little box in his boat of the mounts, because they break, those like Mesquite or whatever those things are in that, like they don't forgive. It just breaks. So whenever I showed him that, everybody that's on that lake pretty much has one, or a knockoff version of it at least.
Right.
But
what's your graph setup going to be for the elites?
I think we are going to do a 12-inch Garmin. I think we're doing 12, 12, 12. 12-inch Garmin, 12-inch Lowrance, 12-inch Humminbird up front, 12-inch Lowrance at the back. And whatever the difference is, I think it's like 7-inch. That's going to be my Humminbird, but I'm going to be able to interchange my 360 for my mapping in the back. So I'll have my mapping in the back on the big screen in practice, and then during the tournament I'll have it on the 360 up front.
On the Garmin, are you using the GPS map or using the Echo map? The one with the knob, or the
I should have just asked Trent. He's going to have a 12, 12, 12.
I'm gonna use the one they can't plug into to show it on live, the one that has the knob on it.
So Stephen is Pellerin's back. Drew going to fish the NPFL again in 2025, which you said yes.
Mhm.
And he goes, would assume so if you win AOY this year. How close are you on that AOY?
3 points.
Yeah,
4
3
points?
points to the good, I guess. Leading by
Okay,
3.
so he's in the lead going into it.
Are you in the lead or are you behind? Are you in front of Welch or behind him?
I'm in front of him.
Okay.
Oh,
He
that's
didn't
good.
give me. He didn't give me much room last. I think I was six points behind him going into Lake of the Ozarks. I finished
Yeah.
third. He finished 11th, and only gained. Like I really needed him to not catch him, but
When is that? When is the next? So isn't it Murray?
Murray in
Mhm.
December.
Murray in December.
What do you? How do?
That's gonna be good.
Oh, it's gonna be real good. How do you? What do you do when you switch from this year? When you going from Bassmaster to NPFL, do y'all have to take y'all stuff off? Do y'all have to lock it up as far as forward facing, no forward facing? Have y'all figured that out yet?
So they're going to kind of use the capsule. I think
Like the
like
TAA?
kind of what the TAA did, but
Yep.
so all your transducer cables have a quick connect on them.
Yeah.
And most of the time they're in the front of your boat, like
Right.
down past thing. I'm just going to run mine up to where I can just disconnect it. Because that way it's not going to be on there and it won't get caught on stuff.
Yeah.
I got you. Oh, yeah. So Trent said you're going to have a 12, 12, 12, 12, 7, kind of like what you said.
Yep.
So Tyler Hollier, we're going to go Hollier. What's up from Toledo Bend? You like to swim a jig in the fall or are you dragging?
Swimming it. Trolling motor on 70.
And swimming it.
Swimming
Okay.
it.
Yeah. He needs one of them mounts over on Toledo Bend too, because that's like a full of stuff.
Chock full of them.
That makes sense. I'm giving you every opportunity.
No, you're good. Do you use scent when you're fishing a bed? That's the last one I got.
Sit on a bed.
So do you put scent on your lure when you're fishing a bed? Because we get scent questions all the time.
Let's see if he drinks or if he what's he doing.
I've never put it on my bait, but most of the baits are already scented. So
yeah.
I guess but I've never been like, oh man, I really need to put some bait fuel on it that'll get him to bite type thing.
Do you believe
sponsored me, then I'd probably do it. But
yeah, they sponsor. But do you believe in scents as a whole?
100%, especially for smallmouth and spotted bass. It is a big difference for both of them.
All right, and what makes the difference? Is it the trail, or is it when they actually hit it? Is it something that they feel when they taste it, or what makes them hit a scented bait?
I think with the smallmouth and the spotted bass, especially with the amount of pressure they get on them now, like they're already there at it, because it caught their eye, whether it was coming down or whatever. But when they can smell it, like they'll actually eat it instead of just looking at it. But I mean, dude, I've watched them on live scope on Lake Ontario literally go around your bait 3 or 4 times. I mean, scented to the max, eyeballs on your lure or on your soft plastic, everything. And then finally you think you feel something, you end up having him hooked in the side of the head. Like they're smarter than they used to be. I remember the first time we went to Lake Ontario. The first time we ever had live scope on Lake Ontario, you just threw it the blob and it never made it to the bottom. I mean, they'd swim to and eat it. And you just caught them. 4 or 5 years after live scope, you can't move the bait. You can shake your line, but you can't move the bait. Like if you move the bait, it's over with. It's the damnedest thing.
Okay. All right. Well, so guys, we got just a few more minutes here, and we're gonna let Drew get to bed because he was up early like me going to vote. So if you got any additional questions, you need to get them in now. My question to you is if you could change, and since with all the new changes that you've seen, I know the last time you guys were on, you mentioned the payouts as far as the overall payout would be the thing you would change in professional fishing. Now that you've seen everything across all the spectrums, if you could change one thing in professional bass fishing to the good, what would it be?
Lack of well, I'm not gonna say that. That's not right. But I don't know. I'd probably like to see and I'm not for live scope, against live scope, whatever, but I'd like to see a split schedule where they announce the schedule and the dates, and then we have a coin toss. So heads is live scope, tails is not live scope. And when it lands on heads, you get 5 tournaments with live scope. First, third, fifth, whatever. And you get 4 tournaments without. It doesn't matter where we are. The schedule's already been announced. We had no idea, the dates or any of that stuff. Just because, like, dude, I'd love for us to go to Lake Ontario or the St. Lawrence River with no live scope, and all you would see is a bunch of people sight fishing smallmouth up shallow in that crystal clear water. And because it would be fun. And like, I feel like you would have to, it would add another dynamic to it, and it would change up how you practice for a tournament and how you fished a tournament. And it would just be fun. I also would like to see where we all got ready for a tournament, not an Elite Series event, but another event. Like, everybody practiced, everybody got ready, and we showed up that morning and drew names out of a hat. And say, I drew Patrick Walters. I had to get in Patrick Walters' boat and fish with what he had. And whoever drew my name had to go get in my boat and fish with what I had.
That's interesting. Now, when you on your 5 tournament idea, are you talking about the angler gets to pick the 5 tournaments that he would use the live scope?
The coin toss. The coin toss flipped it. So, like, heads would be live scope and tails would be no live scope. Whoever wins the first flip, they get 5 tournaments. It's the first, third, fifth, every other tournament.
Right.
So if it's live scope wins, they get the first tournament, the third tournament, and then it's no live scope for the second tournament for everybody.
Gotcha. That's a good idea. That's a good idea.
I honestly kind of thought that's what we were going to have on the Elite Series this year, because I thought it'd be a good, the way it was all talked about.
Good compromise.
A good compromise. It pleased everybody, but it also, like, you could almost make that coin toss deal into like a watched thing, almost like the draft.
Like the draft, yeah.
And, sell some sponsorships for it. Throw a couple extra dollars into the pot, but
Trent don't like that idea, but I like that idea, Trent. I mean, I understand why Trent don't like it. I get it, though. I get it. So, Alan MCD 82, I'm late to the party. So, real quick, what are your first, second, and third baits on a bed? Be specific, he asked. You come out of the bed, what's the first one you're going to throw?
The first one I'm going to throw is probably going to be a wacky rig, like, as I'm going. As soon as I see it, I've got a wacky rig in my hand, throw it over there. You can't complain whenever you catch a freebie, man. Like, whenever you see it, throw it over there and it eats it. Second one's got to be like just a normal Texas rig with a front flapper on it, 1/4 ounce weight, 4/0 hook. And then my third one's going to be the big Norris flip gill.
On your wacky rig, are you weighted or weightless?
Weightless.
I love this guy. Everybody knows that's my favorite bait year round is a weightless wacky. I throw that thing everywhere like that.
Oh, yeah.
So,
yeah.
That's great answers.
We saw.
You saw. You saw. So, all right. So, of the two trails that you got, which one's going to be more challenging next year for you? The NPFL without the forward-facing sonar, or the Elites based on the schedule? Because you got like this. You got like there's a couple of tough ones on the Elite schedule next year.
Yeah, I don't even remember what's on it. I know that, like, I'm going to be going a bunch.
You are going to be going a bunch.
There's going to be it can, man, the whole year could go one, really, it could be really, really good. Like, you could get on a roll and, like, you could actually, like, make hay, because you're on a roll, but you could get in a slump and, like, it'd knock your teeth in. But I would say it'd probably be the Elite schedule. More than likely.
Okay. Jimmy Braswell, has Power Pole fixed their issue with the Mega 360 yet? And that's
I hope so.
You hope so?
I have no idea. I'm not a Humminbird guy.
Trent Palmer. Sonar Dad, did they fix it?
It's Trent. Yeah, Trent. Did they fix the Power Pole issue with the Mega 360 yet? Seems like to me he answered that question when he was on a few weeks ago.
He talked about it, I think.
I feel like they would have to. If not, they are working so hard on it right now, it's not even funny.
Oh, listen, Trent. Okay, now listen.
Oh, jeez.
All right, me and Trent got issues now. Weightless wacky equals Kamala voter.
Hey, that's my boy.
Trent, listen, I like you. You outpunted your coverage on your marriage and all that, so you did well. But listen, the weightless wacky rig will catch fish anywhere, anytime.
You want to give him shit?
You're
What's he doing on a podcast during his honeymoon?
Yeah, is Trent on his honeymoon?
No, I think it's the week of Thanksgiving.
That's right. I think he got married and he was going to take it. He's
delayed.
delayed it
Oh,
right
okay.
there. So
All right, so here's one.
His boss won't give him time off.
the boss, that damn slave driver he's got right there. So
Do you, on your wacky rig, do you throw an open hook or you have it Texas rigged?
Open hook.
open hook. All right, let me ask you this because this is for me. What Trent said to your question, Jimmy Braswell, Trent says no, they have not fixed it. It only works on the 455 kilohertz right now. So there's answer that question. What hook do you use? What size hook do you use on your weightless wacky?
Not the one you use.
No, because I go small.
Normal 5-inch.
It's the story of my life, man.
Number 2
I'll throw a number 2.
stinger hook.
Okay, there you go.
Stinger.
That's it. So, all right, man. Well, I tell you what. So right now we did get if you guys are in the comment section, you can see where the election is so far right there. I'm not going to right there. Yeah, that ain't bad.
Yours is a third that size.
Well, I learned from guys that are fly fishing. If you can stick a 25-inch brown trout with a midge that's got a hook the size of a booger, you can daggum keep a bass pin with a number 1, number 2, 1/0 or 2/0 hook.
Oh,
I mean,
100%.
I believe that. See, there you go. So me and Drew Cook, we agree right there.
Are you using the power pole trolling motor?
I am. You see it right
yep.
There?
Yeah.
Okay. That's what I
Yeah,
thought.
he's got it.
And I've been thoroughly impressed with that thing. I
Yeah.
truly
It's
beat the shit
powerful.
out of it.
The power pole trolling motor.
Yeah, it's like
Is that the one they dropped at ICAST last year or the year before?
It's been out 3 years.
It's been out 2 or 3 years now, right?
2 years.
I know they
2
were
years.
demoing it.
Yeah.
2 years.
Yeah.
I remember seeing the video on it where Chris Lane was up at Gunnersville just cutting through a freaking mat.
All right. Yeah. So, all right. So let me ask you this. So NPFL, you and Kyle Welch are coming down to the last tournament pretty much. Is it just basically you two that have it? That's it.
I think third place, I don't know. I really haven't looked, but from what I've been told, third place is 30-something.
Gotcha. So it's gonna be that's gonna be a good event to watch. So and Kyle Welcher's a nice guy, but I know Drew, so we'll be rooting for you. So listen, with that, man, first of all, I want to tell you I appreciate you coming on and just hanging with us tonight. I know a lot of people are watching the election and all that, and we just wanted to give guys an alternative to all the bullshit that's on the news about right now and everything. But the best thing about tonight is at 12 o'clock, all these damn political text messages that I've been
You're
getting,
going to stop.
they're going to stop.
I can't wait.
Like I am the most popular guy in America. I hadn't deleted a text, and I went through today, and I had 400 different political text messages on my phone that I had to delete. So,
I've been emailing and emails, texts, and calls.
yeah,
I was getting the calls like 2 weeks ago.
it's stupid. So
How the
But
hell
Drew,
did
I-
they get your number? Is what I want.
I don't know. Something
It's the
happened
same with
my
the car
email.
insurance people. Like,
Yeah, I don't
think
get
it's from
those.
the hotels.
probably so.
You know what? I just switched jobs. I started traveling in the last
Sell it.
4 months, and I have unsubscribed. I guarantee you to over 100 emails.
Yeah.
I was getting crap from eHarmony and everything else. My wife
eHarmony?
kill me.
Yeah, that's why you get. Listen, that's why you get boob pictures on Facebook. It's what you've been looking at behind the scenes.
I couldn't get a farmers only or nothing like that. I got like freaking city slickers.
All of a sudden, my Facebook ad is just filled with big-breasted women, and I ain't got a clue why.
You got a different algorithm.
It's the
My
hotel.
algorithm- I think it's Tom from India every time
And I
he
got-
calls me.
I'm coming down there his way this coming week, so I'm sure I'll fire the emails back up. I'm gonna be in
Well,
Tallahassee all week.
Listen, excuse me, but I'm calling about your car's warranty. That's it. Drew, listen, seriously. First of all, we want to thank you for hanging with us tonight. I appreciate it very much. And I hope you'll come back on in the future. And
Absolutely.
It's a good time when you're on here. We want to wish you the best of luck with the NPFL.
TV show. his podcast.
His podcast. All right, well, shout it out. Shout out all your stuff where guys can watch you outside of actually fishing a tournament. Because I always see is your ass on that anyway. Where can they see your face?
All my social media, Facebook, Instagram, Drew Cook Fishing, YouTube, The Cut Line. That's about it.
Good show.
It is
really
a good
is.
show. Yeah, you talk about it a lot. Man, listen, seriously, thank you very much for hanging with us. And we're going to wish you the best. We'll be watching that event. And no offense to Kyle Welcher. Sure, he's a great guy, but we hope you take it home and get the AOY this year in the NPFL. And it's going to be fun watching you next year in both series, the Elites and the NPFL. So appreciate you hanging out with us, and best of luck in the future. And I hopefully that rut kicks in and you and your boy get you a big one.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I thank y'all for having me on. Let me know next time.
All right, buddy. We'll see you. Thanks. And guys, hey, we appreciate you hanging with us tonight. You know, there was other things that you could have been watching, and or that you could have been, like politics or whatever. But thanks for joining us. And guys, if you're watching at a later date, hey, we appreciate you too. So got a good show coming up for Thursday night. Got another elite angler. Got to make sure it's settled, but one Joseph Webster might be on this Thursday. So look forward to that. You guys have a great rest of your evening. Go watch all your results from the election, and be safe out there. We'll see you on the next live well.